All right, Raider Nation, let's get into it. The Silver and Black are gearing up for one of the toughest battles of the year, heading into Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. You know what that means? The noise, the energy, the Red Sea roaring like crazy, and all the odds stacked against the Raiders. But if there's one thing we've learned about this team, it's that they've got that underdog bite, that stubborn fight that shows up when nobody expects it. So, let's break this down and figure out what it's really going to take for the Raiders to steal one in Arrowhead. The first thing everyone's talking about is the quarterback play. Geno Smith has had a roller coaster season. There have been flashes of control, moments where he looks sharp and steady, and then those frustrating turnovers that kill the momentum. The truth is, the Raiders can't afford another game where Geno puts the ball in harm's way. 5 of the last 6 games, he's turned it over, and that's got to stop. The Chiefs' defense has only managed 4 interceptions so far, and they're sitting around the middle of the pack in passing yards allowed, giving up about 240 per game. That means there's a window here, not a big one, but it's there. Geno has to read the field, stay patient, and let his playmakers go to work. Nobody's asking him to be a hero. He just needs to be a field general. The formula for the Raiders this week isn't complicated. Run the football, control the clock, and keep Patrick Mahomes sitting on that bench as long as possible. Ashton Jenney has been the heartbeat of this offense lately, pounding the ball with power and purpose. Last week, he touched the ball 25 times, a career high, and you can feel the offense starting to run through him now. When he's out there dragging defenders, it sets the tone. Kansas City is giving up roughly 118 yards a game on the ground, so there's an opening if the Raiders stay committed to it. This needs to be a game where the offensive line gets nasty, where they lean on that defense until the Chiefs start wearing down. The thing about Arrowhead is it's not just about skill, it's about composure. The crowd is loud, the momentum swings are brutal, and the pressure builds fast. You can't make early mistakes there because Kansas City feeds off that energy. So the key for the Raiders' offense is rhythm. Keep it steady. Mix up the short passes, let Jenney chew up the clock, and don't give the Chiefs extra possessions. Pete Carroll's philosophy lately with Geno has been pretty clear. Manage the game, don't lose it. It's not flashy, but it can win you football games if the rest of the team steps up. Now let's talk receivers, because this is where things have gotten a little shaky. Jakobi Meyers has been quiet. 3 straight games under 40 yards, no touchdowns, and that's not going to cut it. When he's involved, the offense opens up. He's not the kind of player that stretches the field like a pure deep threat. But when he gets touches, he forces defenses to adjust. And that's what creates room for everyone else. So this week, the Raiders need to feed Meyers early. Let him find his rhythm, give Geno a reliable option, and make the Chiefs' corners work. And then there's the young receiver, Jack Beck. He's the new number 3, but he barely saw any action last week. That's got to change. Even if he's not a primary target, getting him involved keeps the defense honest. The Chiefs secondary has allowed over 700 yards to wide receivers already this season, which is among the 10 worst marks in the league. There's space to attack if the Raiders get creative. Play action, crossing routes, maybe a few slants to get those linebackers biting. The passing game doesn't have to be explosive, it just has to be efficient. The tight end room is a bit of heartbreak right now because Brock Bowers isn't likely to play, and that's a tough blow. You'd love to see him out there in a matchup like this, proving a point against Travis Kelce. But Michael Mayer stepped up last week with 5 catches for 50 yards, and he's got to be a central piece again. The Chiefs have actually been solid against tight ends this season, but that can change if Mayer gets involved in creative ways, especially in short yardage and red zone situations. We saw that 4th and 1 play against Tennessee where Mayer came up clutch. That's the kind of confidence this team needs to build on. Now, none of that happens if the offensive line doesn't handle business. Protecting Geno is priority number 1. Watching the film from last week, DJ Glaze stood out as one of the bright spots. Even though the line as a whole struggled, Glaze held his own. But the real challenge now is the interior, specifically dealing with Chris Jones. He's still one of the most disruptive players in football, even if he's not having his absolute best season. The Raiders have to be physical up front. Double teams, quick throws, anything to slow that pressure. Because once Geno starts feeling it, the turnovers usually follow. Keep him upright. and suddenly this offense starts to look functional again. The blueprint for victory is pretty clear. Run the ball with authority, protect the quarterback, and avoid the self-inflicted wounds that have haunted this team all season. You can't win an Arrowhead by trading field goals for touchdowns. You can't go 3-and-out and hand Mahomes extra chances. Every possession has to mean something. Even if you're not scoring, you've got to chew up time, make the Chiefs' defense stay on the field, and keep that rhythm alive. And look, nobody's pretending it's going to be easy. Kansas City has owned this matchup for years, and the energy in that building is something else. But there's a little confidence building here. The Raiders beat the Chiefs last Christmas with Aiden O'Connell, and that game was proof that it can be done. It's not likely, but it's not impossible either. If the defense can hold its own, if the offense stays patient, this could turn into one of those gritty, unexpected wins that remind everyone why we love this game in the first place. Before even getting to the defensive side, there's something about this matchup that just feels different. It's not about records or stats. It's about pride. Every Raider player knows what it means to walk into that sea of red and try to quiet it. Every fan knows how much a win in Arrowhead would mean, especially heading into the bye week. You can throw out the numbers, throw out the predictions. If the Raiders bring heart, play disciplined football, and keep fighting for 60 full minutes, they've got a real shot. All right, Raider Nation. Now let's flip the field and talk about the defensive side of the football, because this right here is where the game is going to be decided. Every time you face Patrick Mahomes, it comes down to one simple question. Can you make him uncomfortable? The guy's a magician when he's in rhythm. He'll extend plays, turn broken pockets into highlight reels, and find ways to kill you on third down if you give him an inch. But when you pressure him, when you hit him early and often, when you take away his comfort zone, he becomes human. And that's exactly what the Raiders have to do. Make him feel every single snap. Max Crosby is the heartbeat of this defense. 2 sacks last week against Tennessee and still playing like a man possessed, chasing every play from sideline to sideline. His matchup with Mahomes has turned into one of the league's most intense rivalries. There's mutual respect, sure, but between the whistles, they can't stand each other. Crosby knows what's at stake, and he's been vocal all week about setting the tone. But it's not just on him. The entire defensive line has to match that intensity. When the Chiefs start spreading out the formation, that's when you've got to stay disciplined. Kansas City will try to get you off balance with motion, with misdirection, with those quick screens to the outside. If the Raiders can stay in their lanes, if they can win the battle in the trenches early, it'll change everything. The defensive tackles have a massive test ahead of them. Creed Humphrey might be the best center in football, and that interior line is physical. Guys like Jonnu, Adam Butler, and Thomas Booker have to play their best football of the year. If they get pushed around, if they allow Kansas City to establish the run with Isaiah Pacheco or Kareem Hunt, it's going to be a long night. Those backs aren't the flashiest, but they run angry. They thrive on contact. And if you let them dictate the tempo, Mahomes will start picking you apart off play action. The Raiders have to win first down, force second and long, and take away the balance that makes this Chiefs offense so dangerous. Now let's talk about the linebackers, because this group has to be sharp from the very first snap. Losing Jermaine Pratt hurts, no doubt, but Devin White is coming off his best game in silver and black. He looked faster, more confident, and finally comfortable in this system. The challenge this week is containment. Mahomes is running more than ever this season, already with 4 rushing touchdowns and a bunch of key first downs that have kept drives alive. It's sneaky how good he's become at reading those lanes. 1 second you think you've got him bottled up. The next he's sliding past the marker for another fresh set of downs. So discipline is everything. Keep him inside the pocket. No over-pursuing. No careless roughing penalties when he slides. Just smart, contained football. And of course, you can't talk about facing Kansas City without mentioning Travis Kelce. The guy has torched the Raiders for years, and it's not even just about the numbers, it's the timing. Every big third down, every must-have play, Mahomes is looking for 87. The Raiders have to find a way to take him out of the game, or at least make him earn every catch. Double him when possible, jam him at the line, disrupt his rhythm. Make Mahomes throw to someone else. There are whispers that Kelsey isn't quite as dominant as he used to be, but if you give him daylight, he'll remind everyone who he is. The linebackers and safeties have to communicate perfectly. One blown assignment, and it's 6 points. The secondary's role in this matchup might be the most underrated storyline. Eric Stokes has been solid, and he's probably going to draw a Rassie Rice most of the night. That's a big task, but Stokes has shown he can handle elite route runners when he stays focused. The real question is what happens opposite him. Kai Blue Kelly has struggled badly, and it might be time to let Darian Porter take those snaps. Porter brings a little more physicality and better awareness in coverage. The Chiefs love to rotate receivers. Rice, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, even Tyquan Thornton, and they'll test every weakness you've got. The corners have to stay locked in, no free releases, no lazy backpedals. Every play matters because Kansas City is the kind of team that finds cracks and turns them into canyons. The safety group is under the microscope as well. The Raiders have been beaten deep too many times this season, and a lot of that comes down to miscommunication and poor positioning. Isaiah Polamau has been targeted again and again by opposing quarterbacks. He's got the athletic tools, but he's been out of position on too many key plays. Kansas City will notice that on tape, and you can bet Mahomes is going to test that part of the field. The Raiders can't afford to give up easy chunk plays. Stay disciplined, play your assignments, and don't bite on the eye candy that Kansas City throws at you. If you're running cover 3 all game, fine, but it has to work. You can't keep getting burned on the same concepts. Special teams, while often overlooked, could end up being the difference between a win and another heartbreak. Daniel Carlson is one of the best kickers in football, but the Raiders really don't want to be settling for field goals in Arrowhead. Touchdowns are the only way to survive that environment. The Chiefs are too efficient on offense. You trade 3 for 7, and the game slips away fast. Still, if Carlson's number is called, he has to be perfect. The return game needs to stay sharp as well. Alex Bachman has been solid as the main punt returner, and field position is going to matter more than ever in this one. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL rumor mill is buzzing this week, and it centers on a move that could shake up the AFC West in a big way. Bryce Huff, the dynamic edge rusher who has spent the past few seasons in San Francisco, is reportedly on the move, and the chatter suggests he's headed straight to Las Vegas. Sources close to the situation hint that the Raiders are aggressively pursuing Huff, eyeing him as the missing piece to turbocharge their pass rush, which has been a work in progress despite flashes of brilliance from the current roster. Huff's tenure in San Francisco was marked by a mix of promise and frustration. While he flashed the speed and explosiveness that made him a coveted draft prospect, consistency was sometimes an issue. The whispers around the league indicate that a change of scenery could unlock a new level in his game, and the Raiders seem ready to provide exactly that. Analysts speculate that adding Huff to a unit already featuring max-effort defenders could create a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks, potentially reshaping the way offenses approach Las Vegas on game day. Inside sources suggest that negotiations are moving quickly, with both sides motivated to strike a deal before the season ramps up. While no official confirmation has landed yet, the excitement among Raiders fans is palpable. Social media threads are lighting up with speculation about how Huff could fit into the team's schemes, with some envisioning him lining up across from Chandler Jones and creating a rotational nightmare for opposing offensive lines. Others are weighing the potential impact on the locker room dynamic. Huff's fiery energy and aggressive style might just be the spark the Raiders' defense needs. Of course, the NFL is notorious for last-minute twists, but the buzz surrounding Huff is hard to ignore. If this move goes through, the Raiders wouldn't just be adding a player. They'd be sending a statement to the rest of the league. In a division where every sack counts and momentum can swing a season, Bryce Huff in silver and black could make opponents think twice before dropping back to pass. For now, all eyes are on Las Vegas and the rumor that could turn the Raiders' pass rush into one of the most feared in football. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.